I think that we're live.
I see is.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a little bit more light.
Oh.
Yeah?
Well, I mean, if you're out of screen, I may as well be out of screen too.
Yeah.
Turn that on. Get these. We're cool. We're prepared.
So I didn't realize until 4 minutes before the stream that I hadn't actually scheduled any more LangTime Studios on YouTube or put them on Discord. Very sorry. I got it out at the 11th hour, and after this, I have to go pick up Meridian immediately.
Yes.
But
after that,
I will schedule more. Okay, I see.
After this, I have to work out immediately. We have things to immediately do.
Okay. And then I'm going to move these so they're all the way in frame.
Oh, what did we do last time? Ragdoll's mentioning it's quiet again. Is it still on?
The settings might have gotten messed up.
Hello, Jonathan.
Oh. The input volume was pushed way down.
Huh. Have we done anything since?
The thing is, even if we had, I thought that it would save the input
settings.
volume for that microphone.
Okay.
And so I wouldn't have to do anything. I guess now I'll just check it each time.
Okay.
All right.
Miles says, I think it sounds okay, and then after you did the volume change, said, oh, that's way better. Yeah.
Yes. I didn't expect it to change, so we'll note that for the future. Got the poll up. Hello, everybody. Oh, Ragdoll says now we're too loud. Oh, just turn us down a little bit on whatever machine you're using to listen to us.
I am.
Yeah.
Here.
I think that we all are here.
This is going to be a day of staring into the distance. Welcome to a live stream.
It's been a trying week. It's going to continue to be a trying week. At least from the thumbnail I'm looking at, I look very handsome right now.
You have good lighting.
I hope everybody else perceives that as well.
Does my opinion count?
It does.
Good. I think you look very handsome.
Thank goodness. Because, of course, we don't have to put ourselves on the screen right there. And, if we were unpleasant to look at, we could just remove it and put more space for chat. Right. Oh, and
I would be so fine with removing my face from the screen.
I know.
If you just want to push your camera over.
And I know we're seeing double chat right now. It's because I'm just reading things. Once we start doing the poll, I'll move it. I could VTube.
Oh, goodness,
I
Matthias.
don't think I know what that means.
I'm sorry to hear that. I saw something about that in chat, I think, about you saying you would need to be looking for places, but goodness gracious, I'm sorry to hear that.
I find myself wondering what the weather is like in Australia right now. Is it...
Because it's winter?
Yeah. How winter is it?
I think it
June,
depends
right?
on what part of Australia you're talking about. It's
does?
like asking what does winter look like in the U.S. or something.
Yeah, but
it really depends on where you are.
If it's December, it's cold everywhere. Outside of Hawaii, where it's always perfect.
And I don't think Florida ever gets cold. It just gets miserable. Yeah, exactly, Jake. Even Florida? Question mark? No, I don't think so.
VTuber avatar. Oh no. I don't think I like that idea.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't need an avatar. Like, if my face isn't going to be on the screen, then I would just have nothing representing me. Unless it was a static drawing that I did, like, of a turtle or something, where all you saw was a drawing that I had done. But other than that, no thank you.
Okay, all right.
Good? You ready? Ooh, I forgot to...
Yeah. Lousy Essex roller. That guy.
Lousy?
That
I think he's...
49-year-old bastard.
I think he's quite good, not lousy, which is why you're all up in a ruffle that he's better than you. And apparently has been doing this for decades, and you in your 1 month of experience expect to be better.
I hope he's jealous of my hair.
I bet he is.
That's right. Yeah. Anyway, by the way, I everybody keeps saying VTube. Is it just a thing that you do on YouTube? Like, can you just press a button and you can become a thing? Because I'm only familiar with it from, like, not Zoom. It's the Google version of Zoom, whatever the Google
Meet?
Google Meet. You can make your face into an animal very easily. Remember? I've done it on accident. And one was like, I am not a cat.
I thought that was actually in Zoom, though, because that was when everyone was using Zoom.
Oh, boy.
I thought so. Because I think it's something that your settings on your end you can do. But anyway. Ooh, happy Thursday, Madeline.
So, South Australia, so not that cold right now. Start of winter colder next month. We get suddenly Antarctic cold winds here. So can get cold sometimes snows.
That is fantastic to have Antarctic winds.
Anything coming from Antarctica. Wow, that's wild.
That is so cool. And good night, Nemo.
Good night, Nemo. Evidently cold enough to have the heater on, though. So that really tells me what I need to know. Here it's not hot enough that we can have the door open and enjoy a nice breeze. So that's nice. 5 degrees Celsius. That's not enough degrees.
That feels pretty chilly.
What is 5 degrees Celsius?
David's version of freezing.
Definitely. 5 Celsius to Fahrenheit. 41 degrees freezing. Absolutely freezing. Okay, so let's get dangerous.
We had a poll.
Yeah.
Participle poll.
This poll again went up late despite having written out all of the options. Those of you who remember the options from the stream that were on our document might have realized once the poll went up on Patreon that there were fewer options. This is because I decided to axe 2 of them. So.
With my blessings.
Yes. So, anyway, we were left with this 3. What are we doing?
Talking about the poll so we can just...
You know, I think I've been more tired doing, like, going to sleep for, like, 1 to 1:30 and waking up at, like, 9:30.
More tired as opposed to, like, what?
When before we were doing, like, between 12 and 1, I was waking up around 8-ish.
So we should head to bed earlier tonight and not be playing Trivial Pursuit at 12:30 in the morning?
I mean, I also, really enjoyed having that coffee every morning.
Yeah.
Soon. Yeah, next Thursday, in fact, I think, if I have that right. Yeah. Next Thursday, I am hoping 2 things in my life will have greatly improved. Very good. A chilling vision of things to come.
I feel like I'm about to be tossed out between now and next Thursday.
fetch a right good price from the right buyer.
Okay, I'm just gonna look out at the creepy noises that this leaf is creating as it slides across the concrete.
Okay, so to start with, we're talking about participles, active and passive. And to start us off, this was a quick reminder about how our argument structure works in this Fox language thus far. Still VSO with case marking. So the fox hugs the fish would be fis kish hovob. And that is hugs fox, the fish, in the accusative. The fish is hugged by the fox is shifis wob. Wob is fish. Shifis is hugged. And then if you want to say by the fox, that would be aksih. That's not right. It should be akish.
Typo in the poll?
Yeah, typo. I might go fix that later just for the sake of it. That's I looked at that and I was like, that's a Chicopso word. Or is it Akshi? I don't remember. It's one of those two. Anyway, but whatever. We decided we were going to render the reintroduced agent of a passive with the genitive, and so the genitive of kish is akish. Anyway, so that's just a reminder. Now as for what we're going to do. For those that don't remember, Haughòf didn't have participle forms per se, but the way it did the equivalent of participles was to put a verb into the genitive. And so that I preposition, you'd put a verb after the I preposition, put that whole thing after a noun, and it would be the participial, it would render it as the participial form of the verb. However, its meaning would be non-specific. And so this is a little bit, or a lot of it, like Tibetan, where you have these pag constructions that are participles, both active and passive. They are genitive, and they are also straight up adjectival, and they are also relative clauses all together. And it's just basically kind of, it just depends on what you mean, what the context is, and what the word is that it's used with. So in Haughòf, you would say something like the fish of hugging. And that is essentially what it would feel like. And it would be understood from context whether that meant a fish that had been hugged or a fish that was doing some hugging. All right? So we thought we could do that with our Fox language as well. Just use the genitive with the bare root of the verb. And you would have wobafis, the hugging fish. Now we do have agreement, adjectival agreement, with nouns in terms of case and number. And so if we went this route, there would be no agreement, only for participles. And so basically, if you saw a verb in the genitive, you would understand it to be a participle, it wouldn't matter which, but you would know that it wouldn't agree. And so it shows a poor example, though, because Jesse's gone.
I'm grabbing my notebook. I thought you were going to keep going, and I was listening.
It looked like you were like just trying to decide if I was enamored enough of my own voice that you had time to just quietly escape and be done.
Be back in a day or two.
Be done with LangTime Studio forever. Should have bolted the door from both sides.
I just needed my notebook.
I kid. Anyway.
And 2 pens.
I chose a poor example because the adjectival agreement that goes with the allative happens to be the genitive. But there's not like a double genitive there or anything. If you did something else, basically, I was just trying to show the form of that participle would be invariant. That was option A. Option B is we came up with a couple of unique prefixes. One from faf, which means to sniff. In other words, to actively smell something. And another one, tech, that means to give off a scent. These have greater functionality in Haughòf that we didn't use in Lohakish with the copulae, because we decided it didn't make sense for foxes. This is a way to kind of retain their grammaticality. And not only that, since both would be marked, they would be distinguished. And so wob fafis would be the hugging fish, and wob tefis would be the hugged fish. And since it would be a unique form, it could agree with nouns in terms of both number and case. So wavob fafis to the hugging fish, wavob tefis to the hugged fish. The verb that we used obviously starts with a consonant, so we'll have to figure out what happens with one that starts with a vowel.
Mm-hmm.
Option C is we reuse some of the verbal morphology. So we keep te, and we say that this effectively becomes a bleached kind of participial or adjectival marker. But we retain the passive prefix that we created, the shu prefix. Mm-hmm. And so wob tefis would be the hugging fish, and wob teshu fis would be the hugged fish. And the whole thing would agree, wavob atefis to the hugging fish, wavob ateshifis to the hugged fish. So those were the...
This just sounds really cool. I'm very happy with this language so far.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Those were the options on offer. Ba-boo! And there was a clear winner, though it came down to really two options, B and C. There were... I think there was one person that voted consistently for A. I don't know who it was. A did not win and wasn't even close. I appreciate the thought. And, I like the idea, but at least we still have that bizarre ambiguity in Haughòf. It lives there happily, Mm-hmm. Here, we're going to be more specific. So we're going to distinguish these, and they're going to be adjectives. The question is if it was going to be the more prolix forms that you might get with C, with fewer phonological pieces, or B, shorter forms and a distinct active and passive. Vote was very close. It was actually tied in the middle poll. Yeah. So the winner won by 2 votes. It was one ahead in both the bottom and top polls. And that winner was B.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the shorter forms that are neatly distinguished. And so, there we go. Fa and te, we'll implement that, figure out what to do with verb initial forms. What happened to... Oh, it shrinks over here. There we go. Get Lexergy in view. We're going to bring up pages. Not you, but you. And now... it was Mateus. Mateus voted for A.
Jonathan also voted A.
Oh, really?
That shouldn't be so surprising. There was more than one vote at each level for A, right?
I thought there was only one, but I was just eyeballing it. I don't go in and do the full count unless it's not clear what the winner is. In this case, It was a clear winner. So, anyway, this is interesting. Anyway, it was only surprising because I thought there was only one vote for each. But this, though, raises a unique spin-off. Mateus and Jonathan. Mateusathon.
Is that the next?
Ooh, Mateusathon.
Oh, that does. Yeah, the thon sounds.
Jonathan and Mateus just stream on Twitch for 24 hours straight, and it's mainly Mateus just, absolutely, killing it with, really loud, booming music, dancing, and Jonathan begging to be allowed to sleep.
I feel your brain is a weird space today.
Ooh, Jonatais is pretty cool too.
That is much cooler, yeah.
Ooh, and then Jonathan and Tethys. Jonathas.
No. Get all the
See,
groups.
Mateus is already
Miles. Oh, the spin-off show is coming.
Yeah. Oh.
Much more action-packed than ours, even with one person begging to sleep the entire time.
Oh.
Still way more action-packed.
Madeline already state grammar. Dang.
Yeah.
I didn't note it. Well, very sorry.
Well, you were in the middle of doing the poll things when Madeline had mentioned that just, out of necessity needed to end it.
And by the way, of course, the only reason I was ignoring chat was because I didn't want to have it, blocking the window.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. No, that's fine.
Yeah, I wonder, maybe I could, because I need the chat window up just to stream it. But what if I just put it on my phone? And then I wouldn't have to look at it on my computer. Anyway, all right.
Jake has Miles to balance their harshness. Miles says, but wait, I'm soft. But I like Jake's metaphor that Miles is the salt to their lime.
Yeah, I mean, Jake, I did always paint you as the aggressiver of the two, THH. To he honest.
THH or TNH?
The great debate. No, we went back to the original source documents. It is THH.
Oh, okay. But
how could I forget network the two?
Ooh.
Mahjong does sound like Mahjong. Oh my gosh. Miles and Jonathan board game review channel.
Mahjong?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or was it the muff from McCain? Yeah? Or was it the muff from Matisse? Sorry. Yeah.
Never mind. It's fine. My brain is...
Jesse.
No, my brain went in 8 directions at once, and I thought I had something to say, and then realized it's not even on topic.
Please, Jesse. Sweet Jesse. Tell me what you see. Gosh, what's the song I'm thinking of?
One of the 5 things that competed for mental space was, I need to go get that French book from upstairs because I am not understanding when to use that little du thing versus just the article. And they're giving me some conflicting advice because it's like sometimes mange really seems to require du. Yeah. And sometimes it seems to require le. And it's like, I don't understand the difference.
It's when you eat it all. So
but the English doesn't specify. And so it seems unfair.
So je mange le pomme. Je mange le pomme. I'm eating the apple, I'm eating it all. Je mange des pommes. I am eating apples.
And yet, there were 2 examples where they went back and forth and eating cereal, it seemed to go back and forth whether it should be the definite or the de, whether it should be lait or de with cereal as the object. And it also...
Cereal as we understand it?
It was in the plural.
Is it...
Les céréales.
Céréales? They use that? Do they eat that? I can't imagine the French eating cereal.
That's what they say. And then also it was with drinking coffee. Well, we don't often use an article in English either. And I can say I drank coffee, meaning I drank all the coffee that was in there.
Yeah.
I don't have to say the coffee. And they are not being very specific about whether it should be du café or le café.
I would say du.
Anyway.
Yeah. J'ai pas vendu café.
So I need some specific advice because Duolingo is not giving it to me. So I need to go to get the French textbook, but I should probably not get it during the stream, even though it just occurred to me right now that we have a French textbook upstairs.
Yeah. The very same one that I was given by Tao Nguyen.
Way back when.
Yeah, way back when. All right. I am going to see about adding these to these things. Our tables are expanding. Okay. Ba, 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 ba.
Bibleridian confirms they have cereal in France.
Has Bibleridian lived in France?
I don't think you have to live in France to know if they have cereal. I think talking to someone who lives there and or going there, you would probably see if they had cereal.
I think they might
You and I
disagree.
didn't really make it to the breakfasts, so to speak, so I'm not sure we can be experts on the French breakfast.
Yeah. Mm.
Well, the de in the singular, de in the plural, du in the singular with the definite masculine. All of those, like whatever form it takes, it's all the same thing. And it seems to be very back and forth on whether they want you to use one form or another. I messed up like 8 times today in a row on the same sentence because I kept like forgetting which form I needed. Oh, it's a day. It's a day.
I'm going to go ahead and put the plural in, even though that it must be understood that these are adjectives, and so there's a lot more than just a plural. But I'm just going to write it in.
Oh, in Greek, the word for toast is just toast.
Yeah.
Toast.
Getting a call from a spam rat.
Oh, nice. Our live stream should be, let's watch David answer the spam calls that come to his phone. What should David say next? Commenters, place your votes.
Oh, that doesn't.
Thank you, Jonathan. That is exactly where I was. Not thank you, but yes, Jonathan, that is exactly where I was this morning. And as I was telling David, we have a Friends Quest this week to like do so many lessons at 90% or higher. And I did like 12 lessons this morning, and I think I got 5 of them at 90% or higher. I was like, my brain hurts today. I kept missing 2 in the lessons, and well, that doesn't count for 90%. My brain.
All right, so this is another.
And I agree, Jake. Like, having more context would definitely help. Also, like, I feel like they, for a while, accepted more answers. And now that I'm a little further into the lessons, they're not accepting as many answers as correct, which I get. Like, it's like I'm supposed to be getting better. But if at no point there is, you know, if there's no direct instruction or context to help you figure out how to use these things, and I'm not understanding why I'm getting them wrong. And so now it's like my brain is just in this space of like, I don't get it. It's about like me and the partitive and finish at this point because of Duolingo, and I never quite know when I'm supposed to use the partitive.
It's actually very similar.
I hear that it is very similar, and
that was one of the reasons I was
both.
screwing up finish, was because of my understanding, you know, whether imperfect as it is, of French and the usage of de. Oh man. I do indeed have Jessie's social security number, and she's not allowed to use it without my permission now. I wiped her memory of it. Whew.
Is that what you did?
Mm-hmm. Oh, now I'm thinking about mushrooms. I was thinking about mushrooms earlier today. God, I love mushrooms. Okay, here we go. We have hit a verb that starts with a vowel. So now we can have some discussion about this. Start by just putting in what we have there. I might as well put the same one. Okay, and now Lohakish here. We know that fa comes from fa. So originally there was an F there. And we know that te comes from, ultimately from tok. So it surfaced as a ch in Lohakish. And I think even intervocalically, I'm going to check that. It does. I am gonna do something here. I'm gonna show everybody what I'm doing. All right, so just so everybody can see on screen. So what in the proto comes out is tok. In the modern comes out as tech in Lohakish. Something causes that O to go to E, and I believe it's Magpie's Miracle. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to put our word for fear, which is Ech. I'm going to put that there. I'm also going to separate it just to see if there's a difference. Interesting.
Waiting for the video to catch up to see what's interesting.
So there's no change. This is so interesting. I think it's the presence of that pharyngeal that does it. Because I want to see what happens without that. And it is indeed, it's the presence of the pharyngeal that makes it an E. Gosh.
Because of the that one thing, the effects of the strong ones.
Yeah.
I forget what we called it.
Boy, this is... I could see this being an absolutely awful exercise to give to undergraduates. It's showing up as O here and E over there. And why? Because of something that's not present. In fact, look at this. We have, because this is just pharyngalized T and this is non-pharyngalized T. And one shows up as T and one shows up as S. Wow. Okay. All right. So we know that. I want to just take a look at this too, just in case. So nothing happens to these things intervocalically. All right? Which means that one option is to leave them there. Maybe I can pull these out. So this is going to be option A. Option B, we say we want these forms to be shorter. And so they shorten up. Option C. Could have...
Well, gosh, option C. Looks like option A.
Unique, splendid, and inexplicable lenition. Do we have a ra in this language? I don't remember. I think we do. Modern, yes we do. Okay.
Oh, sorry. I meant to go check, and then
No,
you
it's all right.
literally moved faster than my brain could make the connections to say move your hand to scroll.
Wow. Mateus really throwing it out there. Mateus says, I'm the opposite. I like eating mushrooms, but detests them as organisms in nature.
Well, yes. There have been conversations
Sorry.
about Mateus and mushrooms. Have you missed this?
Evidently.
Yeah, Mateus is not a mushroom fan. But like the not the food, the actual
Like,
mushroom in nature.
has this come out of your history of like your study of historical economics? Is that why? Or are mushrooms to blame? Mushrooms.
I mean, who can explain our little quirks that we all have?
Oh, Matisse. Forget Bacana now. Start a new channel where you sample things for people and give your opinion on them. They'll be called Matisse tests.
It took me a second. Oh, David.
The little eyebrow thing was for you, Patrick. Oh, I know one of those that are inspired by wood-ear mushrooms. There's got to be a morelol, right?
Did you say a moral?
Morelol.
Moralol. That's an awful name.
Here, hold on a sec. We'll find it. Morelol.
Lol.
And it's morelol because it lulls you to sleep. See? Well, there you go. Morelol. So is that one of them? Doesn't really look like a wood-ear mushroom, does it?
So A definitely doesn't feel like it's longer in any way, just because I'm beach balling. I was trying to scroll. Too much. Just because, like, it adds a syllable to all the ones that start with a consonant. So it doesn't feel burdensome to have a single syllable added for a vowel as well, because that's all that's happening. Can you remind me how stress works in this language?
The latest, since we've changed it several times, is that stress is usually on the last syllable of a word. Agreement on verbs deflects stress, meaning the stress will be on the previous syllable. There are also a small number of words with characteristic endings that will have penultimate stress. At the moment, we are electing not to mark the stress on these words. This practice may be amended in future if necessary.
Okay, so for these examples, it'll definitely be final, because it's all prefixes going on a root, and the root is final, and in all these cases, really, it's a heavy syllable. So
fafish, techish.
Okay.
Fishtish, favish, techish, techish, techish.
It feels like
situation. Yes.
It feels like if fafish is prone to reduction across the board to fish, and similar verbs, not just this one verb, but like if that's prone to reduction, I would wonder why afishao is not also prone to reduction, where it would just be like afshao. Fashao versus afshao. Like, it seems like if one series of these prefixes are going to be prone to reduction, then we should reconsider these others that are adding two syllables, both unstressed, before a stressed syllable. Why wouldn't they reduce?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that. So then...
Do you smell this? Like, there's some magical, like, not basil, not rosemary, not jasmine, but something delightful wafting in through our door.
I have many superpowers, but smelling things is not one of them.
Oh, it smells good. Like something fresh. Anyway, okay.
Fresh fried taters.
It is the smell of revolution.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Jake is calling something a baloche situation.
Yeah. Utter baloche. Okay, I'm just gonna take a moment to think about some of my favorite meals from the past. Oh, that was a good one. But yeah, I think then let's call that done.
From the past what?
From my past life.
Your reincarnated past life, or just
No.
your life up to this second?
Yeah.
Your entire life, and all you needed was that one tiny second, and one meal popped to mind as you were like, yeah, that was a good one, and then you moved on. That was all you needed to think of all the good meals?
I said some. When did I say all?
But even some, that took you a split second. I'm getting offended as the person who cooks for you. I expect you to take a solid hour of reminiscing.
I said I was thinking of them, not reminiscing. Thinking doesn't take very long.
It takes a long time.
Man, what was it like when you were learning, basic addition?
Are you counting things with your taps?
I think so.
Is that how you learned basic addition? You didn't just learn to look at it and be like, that's 5?
Well, yeah, see, it doesn't take long. You just think of it. Boom.
No, that's solving it. And I'm not trying to think of my favorite numbers as I do the addition problem.
It doesn't take me long to think of Jamaican beef patties.
Anyway. It takes me a while because then I not only start thinking about them, I'm like, I got to think about the ingredients. I think about so much more.
They're wishing violence upon me at your hands. All right. I'm going to write up our participle
I like it. Thank
situation. Lo akish has 2 participles, an active and passive participle. Each one is associated with a unique prefix. Active participles, with va from. Do you think it's an a or a? No, I think it's a schwa.
From the proto?
Yeah.
What did it come from?
Fluff.
Remind me, babe. Just a second.
And passive participles
That's from.
with tef. From dok,
It is a schwa.
to give off.
I had to go to Haughòf because it's not entered in Lohakish yet.
The resultant form is treated as a standard adjective, which, like other adjectives, agrees in both case and number. Some sample usages have been lovingly provided below. Now then, I want to make sure. Have we? Oh, we didn't write up adjectives. That's interesting.
Why would we need to? It's all in our heads.
Like we essentially finished nouns and adjectives, and we didn't write them up. It's extraordinarily irresponsible.
With an ear in front of it?
Yeah. Gosh, that reminds me. I don't think I put on our list that album by Kamasi Washington. I stand by Kamasi Washington as something exciting and new for jazz. So,
Excuse me. I was about ready to speak up and I choked myself. Okay. But
yeah, I didn't put that on there. Dang, what am I doing? I got.
But that answers a question that I had because I was going to ask who that is, but I'm guessing a jazz musician.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, hold on a sec. Yeah, that's it. That's it. And that was the one I wanted, right?
Can you say more things out loud so we know what you're looking at? What album was it that you wanted, David?
I'm trying to remember if it was The Epic or Heaven and Earth. Both good albums.
Any Kamasi Washington fans out there? Which
Both
one
good
should
albums.
David lean towards? Let's vote.
I have to remember by the look of it, and I'm pretty sure it was The Epic. So I'm writing that down. And thank you, Miles, for your patience. Okay, so let's write some example sentences.
So I got a notification on my phone that apparently there's a new sale that's just been dropped for Montgomery biscuits.
Oh.
I now, because I ordered something from them in my account, it shows that's one of my shops, and so I get notifications.
Excellent. All right. Okay. Let's. Ooh.
You know what I want? I want some of those noodles that Jake made.
Yeah. Jake made some really good noodles.
Can we take a quick trip to Essex tonight?
Wouldn't that be the thing?
Gotta save some noodles for us, Jake.
Be over there all the time.
Which, by the way, I think I reacted not seeing the reactions already there below, because I reacted as soon as I saw the picture, but it was all one big post with the picture plus the recipe. And so, like, when you're just looking at screens, you don't see that the post already has reactions. So, like, I thought I was adding my own. So I added the little chef. When I got down to the bottom, there was already a chef there, but it was coded differently than the chef I added. So now there's 2 mouse chefs, 2 different ones. That's right. I went ahead and clicked the other one too, because I was like, let's just up the number of mice chefs.
That's right. We can do 2 of them because we have them on our secret server.
Exactly. Anime fan, that is the precise Montgomery biscuits I am talking about.
Yeah, I've got a shirt.
I ordered a shirt for David because he loves their logo.
Their entire identity.
Their entire identity he loves. And so I ordered him a Montgomery Biscuits t-shirt. And because of that, I now get updates about their shop and their merchandise.
We need some verbs.
Like ones from Haughòf?
I don't know. Like I was trying to write up some example sentences, and in order to really demonstrate that these are participles, right? They need to be modifying nouns that are arguments in other sentences. And we just don't have many verbs. Did we have we not entered any verbs into our...
Not that I know of, which is why I went and double checked in Haughòf for the protoform, because even if we have charts, so I think with this we may be able to consider adding some verbs.
Yeah, we didn't... Are there any verbs that end with a vowel? Seems like there should be.
Huh.
That's one.
Did you find one in Lohakish?
No.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I know we have them over in...
Yeah, this is an important one right here. A very important one. Protoform DEE means to guide.
Hey, that's my name. Remember, that's the first half of Jeshi.
Oh, that's right. In lohakish, it comes out as D, long I. And so, what do we do?
What do we do? Oh, and also to leave is HAE.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is for, you're asking specifically about what do we do for...
Like, we didn't consider vowel final forms when we created these verb charts and did the whole verb inflection thing.
Okay. That seems fun.
What, Magpie? What? Oh. By the way, can we discuss how spring rolls means different things? And I don't like that. Because, like, what I thought, the first time I ever heard the expression spring roll, it referred to the Vietnamese spring roll. That is very much not fried, not cooked at all. It's like wrapped in rice paper. There's vermicelli noodles in it. There's lettuce. Sometimes there's some kind of meat, maybe tofu in place of the meat, something like that. All right? That's what I think of as spring roll. An egg roll is the one that's much smaller and is fried and is very, very familiar. I am personally deeply offended when I go to a restaurant and I see spring rolls on the menu and they mean what I think of as egg rolls. I have actually seen on a menu spring rolls being referring to egg rolls, and then the spring rolls that I know referred to as summer rolls, which they just moved a season forward. Jake just said it. Summer rolls. Yeah, where's my autumn roll?
I would think that
spring roll, a little all
spring and summer should both be fresh, and the fried ones should be winter or autumn, fall, whatever you call it. Falautumter. I don't remember where these endings precisely come from for the agreement, like in terms of their actual protoforms. They're related to the pronouns, right?
Yeah.
But like, what forms of the pronouns are giving us these precise forms? And I see our little what we voted on chart, but I sure don't see the protoforms listed for what it got reduced to before it attached.
Oh. 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 Oh my God, Jesse, we did it. We just didn't write up a chart.
My God. Oh, and our little winner? D. That's the exact verb.
Yeah, and we chose yellow, right?
It says yellow is the winner above it in all caps.
Yeah. Where's the R and the ah coming from? That's so weird because I thought that...
We did this whole... No, wait. Oh, that's just the first verb. Gum and then bolg. Okay. So D is the one we're looking at.
Oh, right. Yeah. There it is right here. Okay. Oh, thank God. Okay, all right. Good. So D, Deve, and then first person plural is also Deve.
Ooh, I would take turnips and sweet potato wrapped in cabbage.
I'm not a fan of sweet potato.
You are when I make it.
I am when you make it. And when you don't make it, I am not.
And I know he's a fan of my sweet potatoes because in the past, I have made a small amount of sweet potatoes for myself, thinking David won't touch it. And then he touches it. And then he eats over half of it. And I'm like, I would have made more. if I had known.
Well, I thought they were just there. I didn't know they were made just for you.
No, I'm teasing you because it was something I didn't think you liked. Because you told me you didn't like it.
Yeah.
And then you ate way more than you would
It's
if
the flavor.
if you didn't like it. And yet you liked it. You ate it. You kept eating more of it. So you like it.
I mean, what you make kind of transcends the usual boundaries of what makes good food.
Love you. And
Like,
I will keep making sweet potatoes for both of us.
I'll take sweet potato stuff that you make, but like at a restaurant, are you joking? Or
so when I order
so help me other people.
The winter roll with turnip, sweet potato, and cabbage, ooh, that's all for me.
Huh. What about the perfective? Oh, I guess it doesn't really matter. It just is D. Because it comes from it comes from that same source, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
No, wait. What does it come from? Where's that L come from?
The L
Coal.
in the other one? Oh, sorry. I was trying to figure out why you were asking about the L and D. I was also reading comments at the same time.
I understand.
My brain powers were split in half.
Totally 100% okay. It's okay.
But Mateus, I like to roast sweet potatoes or do them in the air fryer. I think it's just the way I season it that David is a fan of. Or maybe I cook it in a way that creates a texture that sometimes doesn't get created with other sweet potato dishes. David's a big texture person.
Yeah.
And so that does make a difference.
So.
But yeah, I do like quite a bit. And then even the baked sweet potato, I didn't think you would like that at all, but you seem to actually kind of enjoy that one dish that I made with the Brussels. When I knew David was going to be out for like 2 nights in a row, I made myself like this big meal that I was like, oh, this is such a Jessie meal. David wouldn't like it at all. With the shaved Brussels sprouts and the baked sweet potato and the tahini sauce, like all of that. You remember this, David?
Yeah.
And he tried it and he actually liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not a fan of Brussels sprouts,
Yeah.
he says. Not a fan of sweet potatoes, he says. But he liked this dish, which was literally nothing but sweet potato, Brussels sprout, tahini sauce, that spicy tahini sauce, and roasted chickpeas.
You know that Brussels sprouts have actually gotten tastier since we were kids.
I liked them when I was a kid, so I can't I haven't noticed, I guess. But what I do know is some people just boil Brussels sprouts and call it a day. And I gotta say, that is not my preferred method. If you're gonna cook them in a soup type thing, it needs to be more than just boiled. Like, it needs to be flavored to hold it well. Otherwise, I definitely prefer roasted sweet potato or Brussels sprouts. I know, right, Jake? I love roasted Brussels sprouts. I don't think there were any onions in that dish. So no.
For me, what excites me, just the words noodle house. I could live there.
Oh, Noodle House does sound good.
The only sprouts you'll find there are bean, not Brussels. And it's like, come on, you have to admit, if you had to live with only one for the rest of your life, you're taking bean sprouts over Brussels sprouts.
No?
Bean sprouts, the white ones.
Yeah. I prefer Brussels sprouts.
See, now I know you're just shining me on. You're just doing this to be contrarian.
I want you to consider how often I put bean sprouts in our cooking. and how often I cook with Brussels sprouts. I just invite you to ponder that for a moment. I think David has eaten more Brussels sprouts in the past 4 years than he ate in his entire lifetime before me, times 8.
Bean sprouts are one of my favorite things.
I'm not saying I don't like bean sprouts, but if you forced me to choose for the rest of my life, I could only either have bean sprouts or Brussels sprouts. I'm going to go with Brussels sprouts, but I would resent having to choose. Like, I think they are so different from each other. It's so silly to have to choose.
I would be fine if I never ate one again for the rest of my life. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of
what
kale.
I'm going to be making next week for dinner.
It reminds me of balled up kale.
Another thing that you like when I make it, that kale salad with lentils and sweet potatoes.
It's very
Let's
nice.
talk about things that you say you don't like.
It's very nice. You put things together very well. You prepare them very well. But, see, look at this. Look at this. Yes, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you.
Thank you, Miles.
Look,
thank you, Miles.
Fun is fun, but seriously, you can only have one for the rest of your life. And you're going with Brussels sprouts. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Ooh, Mateus, remind me later. I'll post, there's 2 recipes I think that you will like if you enjoy kale. One is a massaged kale with lentils, and so it's all raw, but it like eats very, very nicely. It doesn't feel like you're eating raw kale. And the other one is a cooked kale recipe with quinoa. And it's really good.
I guess I should just do this.
Yes, I massage my kale, Jonathan. Jake, same. David has gone decidedly quiet now that he has lost.
I mean,
by a landslide.
They're just voting that way because they don't like me. Or not because they don't like me, because they like you better. And if we need that confirmed...
You're not typing a pull-up for this.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get work done, David. God, David. I can't vote. I would vote David if I had a little vote thing.
And I would vote Jesse.
Maybe that's why we work together.
You know, I've never had raw kale. Have you? Like, fresh out of the ground raw kale?
Yeah.
Have I?
You've had raw massaged kale. That's what the kale lentil salad is. That's not cooked, babe.
Okay, so, but like it doesn't look like it does when it comes out of the ground. Is it the massaging that does it?
Yeah, it breaks it down. And so it breaks the cells and it creates that brighter green. And then you also have a little bit of oil and lemon juice as you're massaging it, and so that's what coats it, and so that gives it the shininess. But yeah, the bright green and the shininess are from that process. And I have learned to wear gloves during that process. Otherwise, the green from the kale that's being like broken up, so it's got like green juices in it, gets under your fingernails, and you got green fingernails for like a week because it's like beet juice. If you don't wear gloves while you're cutting beets, next thing you know, you just like, it's like got this kind of like dyed look to your hands. And so, yeah.
You did rounded it wrong. So I would just point out that more people like you versus me than like Brussels sprouts versus bean sprouts.
I would like to point out how many people called this vote cruel, refused to vote, closed it without even looking at it, and this is as it should be.
All right, I feel like I have to do something to make up for it. Here's another poll.
And oddly enough, I feel like some days David would vote no on this, just like someone just did.
First one. I mean, we could probably all admit we'd be happier without food if we didn't need it, right?
No. Man, do you know how hardcore I'm daydreaming about those Buster bars up in our freezer right now?
Oh.
I'm about to break into one of those.
We got to tell everybody about that.
Oh my goodness.
We got to tell everybody about those Buster bars. They're so good. They're so ridiculously good.
It is like
Hard to
a
eat.
Dairy Queen Blizzard on a stick, frozen with chocolate around it.
But like a specific kind, right?
And it's very good.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter, roasted peanuts, and then some secret fudge that you reach at some point while eating this thing. There's like this cache of fudge, and it's so amazing.
Magpie has hit the nail on the head. Ideally, eating would be optional, just like for Data on Star Trek.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I got the reference, babe.
Yeah.
I don't agree.
But I'll tell you what, Jess. We have added the forms for...
Celebrate?
That's right. We've added forms for the participle. We even added the vowel final one.
Do you know what else we can celebrate?
What?
But like, it'll just be a tease because no one's going to find out except you. More specifics. I figured out this week what my CopyCon 2 presentation would be.
Ooh!
Celebrate! And so I've been working on it this week.
Well, cheers, partner. I would say I figured out mine too. It's going to be very, very difficult to complete because it's a secret.
Well, I'm excited. I was going to keep mine a secret from David, but I needed his help, and it felt like a weird thing to ask. Like, I couldn't figure out how to ask you for the information I needed without just telling you, and so I ended up telling you.
Understood.
Yeah.
Yep. Copico. The official sponsor.
Oh, that is threatening. Yikes. Come on, David.
Of course.
Be nice.
Big thank you to the Copico company for how in vain we've taken your name. We've used it so much. Can you imagine? They somehow, take offense and say we need to remove all of our LangTime videos that refer to Copico. So there's just like a few from season 1.
I think 3. I think there would be 3.
Wow.
I think it was episode 4 that we started.
Uh-huh. I don't think they do, Jake. If we lived in the old days of Twitter, I bet they would. Because it was just a lot easier to get attention if you were slightly more famous than the average person, which is where I am. It was just easy to kind of get attentions of things, of brands and whatnot. So I got a whole free case of Otter Pops. But now probably not, no.
I've never had that.
Okay, so we've got that set out. We've written out the participle section to the best of our ability. Now we've got guide. So let's do guided D show. Or D show? D show. No, wait. Is it just a... Man. So I know agreement deflects stress. But is it all verbal morphology? So D show. Oh yeah, because that's why we reduced those to U, didn't we?
Yeah.
D shubu. D shubo. D shubo. D show. Okay. Oh, you know what? I want to do. I'm lazy. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Die show. Quiche.
That was just quite the journey that we went on.
Yeah. And you know what? Hugging is too awkward for this.
Yeah.
We need something else. We're going to need it anyway. To sing. To sing.
You know what we really need? To roll isn't to roll the dice.
Oh my God, we do.
These are our gamblers.
Or just a verb to gamble. But here we've got to sing. This is what it looks like. It comes out as kfew. That is kind of funny. Thinking of foxes yowling, and so singing comes out as kfew.
I like it.
Yeah. All right. So, ends in a consonant. Kfew.
Oh, hell.
Oh no, wait. We don't need that. We need the participle. Fakfel. Quiche fakfel. Die show quiche fakfel. And then Haughòf was fish. Do we have any other nouns for beings?
Beings, not beans, huh?
Dog, Brom.
Oh, you beat me.
Well, but okay. The singing fox guided the dog. Are you writing something down based on what I'm doing, or are you just doing your own thing?
I needed to get something out of my head so I could clear mental space.
All right, I'm gonna leave you to that. Oh, Biblaridian throwing down the HA to what Magpie said. He's just too much effort most of the time. I'm a busy bird. I don't have time for all this maintenance.
I totally thought you were like HA as in ha, and I was looking. I'm like, where does Biblaridian laugh? Ha! No. That's what I was looking for, and then I saw hard agree. That is the HA.
Hang on a sec. I have to scroll up to. I don't normally eat during LangTime, but I might have to today. Scroll to the future. Wow, I immediately got a piece of onion on my computer. This is why I don't usually do this. Well, I mean, Bib did absolutely destroy me in that dad joke competition.
Yeah. No, if I had someone in my house, like professional chef, constantly preparing things for me, so I never had to think about food. Mm-hmm. It's the thinking about it that can be problematic. And if I had the metabolism of an Olympic athlete who could eat without worrying about not being able to stand up from a chair in a month from eating too much, then, yeah, I would like to eat all day long. But thinking about food takes energy. And once I've planned meals, I don't mind cooking the food. It's the planning part where it's just like, oh, I got to figure out what I'm doing. And so anyway, yeah, it's the thinking about food that takes too much energy to me.
Mateus, weren't you there? Was Mateus there when we went to the Planet Word Museum?
Mateus was there.
How'd you miss that? It was a little installation at the Planet Word Museum where they had like a little place where you could sit and do a dad joke competition. They had pre-written ones.
I think Mateus and I were chatting, and really what you just need to remember is that David kept falling off his chair almost, and Biblaridian just sat there and was like, what? That was going on. It was probably, a little confusing at times.
Okay.
I got some good videos, though. You tried so hard not to laugh, babe.
I did.
You tried. And, it would last for, a split second. Yeah, and the only reason the score stopped there, Bib, was that meant you won the game. You only had to play to 5. And if we had kept going, the score would have been, 83-0.
Yeah.
And then Bibbler had been like, this is just cruel now.
I need some help translating this sentence.
Okay. Guided. I'm going to go to the table. Will that be helpful? Or do you already know that bit?
I think the word for hug is feast. And so how does that get put into the past tense?
Oh, okay.
Is it
So I'm
feast
looking. Okay. Faith, which would indeed become an S. Do we have hug in here? Outside of this? No.
What's the protoform for hug?
It is phi, E, the letter E, T aspirated.
Okay.
So it comes out as faith in Haughòf.
Oh.
What do we have? Something interesting just happened.
Yes, something interesting did just happen. I want to separate it with a space, see if it's different. Okay, it's not. I think we're going to have to add a couple more tables because it actually turns, because this is showing up as either "ho" or "show," right? This turns it into "sell" as an S. So we're going to have to...
Another table.
Yeah. So that...
Table this up.
So it's going to be FISSEW, fiso, quiche, the hobram, and then guided. Teddy.
Because it's just singular, so TEDII, correct?
Yes, and then it's in the accusative, singular, which is oh. Yes. So, fiso kish hobram otedi.
Do we have... Oh my goodness, stop beach balling. I just want to look at this. There we go. Now I see the O of the adjective accusative singular. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
The singing fox guided the dog. The fox hugged the guided dog. See, it's a little story there.
Okay, so now we need a chart for S.
Yeah.
S, because the only reason we have S is
Yeah.
because of the aspirated T. So this is...
Yeah, so it's going to be similar to that one, but I'm going to take this one. No, I'm actually going to take this one. Yes, fine. This is feast to hug. So no reason it would be different here. Oh, what happens in front of a B?
In front of a B?
Yeah. Becomes a Z.
Oh, for the ending. I see what you're working on.
Fis, fafis, easy.
Oh, Feesbo. How fun.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to do it by retaining the S, but it simply wasn't feasible.
That was good. That was good. All right, David, I have to leave you on your own for a moment.
Did people already laugh at that, though?
Are you okay?
I think we'll be all right.
All right.
All right. All right, top 10 numbers and Jesse's social security number. Number 10. And this is where it becomes feast.
So there's only 9 numbers.
Digits. It really is lovely here right now, here in Southern California, in terms of weather. It's very mild, and it's not too foggy, which it sometimes gets at the beginning of June. Wait, I gotta put the S there. Change this too. Okay. Okay, that's correct. I really am very, 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 very lucky to have lived the life that I have lived up to this point. There are always things that could be better, but goodness, I get to spend every day with Jesse. And that makes me feel very, 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 very lucky. This is an S. I both love and hate updating tables. It's very boring and very satisfying. Okay. I think that covers it. And you can all hear me when I just speak like this with the microphone all the way over there, yeah? Good. Good. Did we enter the word for cat? We did enter the word for cat. Okay. Very good. Well, splendid. All right. We need to enter some verbs. And so I'm going to get us started right here, but I think I'm going to need some help. Guide to read. Anybody know the song D by Ozzy Osbourne? Where it comes out, it's off of Ozzy Osbourne's first album, The Blizzard of Oz. I wouldn't say it's by him because I'm pretty sure that it's the guitarist Randy Rhoads who did the song. But it's a very short instrumental song, and it's very nice. I don't know why it's called D. It could be perhaps that it's in the key of D. Anyway. You should give it a listen. You can find it. It's only like 40-some seconds.
The song?
Yeah. Yeah, Karis knows it. Okay. I have put us on the path toward making a verb entry.
I see.
So we should take a look at all of those tables, figure out what our principal parts ought to be.
Mm-hmm.
Dolores. Oh. Yeah. Randy Rhoads is a tremendous guitarist.
Do you know something I just found out yesterday? Do you remember Angie used to call Piper Sweet Piper? Like, just call her that a lot?
Yeah.
It's because of Sweet D from It's Always Sunny.
Huh? Oh my gosh.
And so, yeah, she picked up and so that made me think of that with Dolores.
Dolores.
Okay, so in terms of comparing it seems like if you know the first person singular and second person singular, you would see what pattern is being created.
Okay.
I think. But then you get over to those perfective forms.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes khela versus sela versus... So I feel like you would also need a perfective form in there to know whether you use the SS or the sh.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons I say first person singular and second person singular for the imperfective is that tells you if there's a disappearing L that comes back, which will then show up in other forms where relevant.
Mm-hmm.
It also tells you if something happens where that B is, like the voicing of the Z, which happens, of course, in good old Fizbo, but also in Ijbo.
Yes.
It also tells you on like D, where you get the R being inserted, dira. But then again, the A disappears for D. Ooh. Would that be good information to have?
We could do first person singular, first person plural, and then second person singular.
I still think we would need to pull a perfective form.
Oh, decidedly.
Okay.
Because first person plural and third person plural are never distinguished in the imperfective. They're only distinguished in the perfective.
Which ones are, sorry?
First person plural and third person plural.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that one form would actually give us two forms.
Yeah. Do we ever have a devoicing situation with second person plural?
We may... Oh, we do get M to N. Gam becomes gantov.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a
We'll get
voiced.
that in the...
I don't think we have a voiced consonant at the end of a root right now.
Let's see what would happen with that and this. Oh, those stay. Okay.
If you wanted Lexergy on screen right now, it is
No,
not.
those...
Okay.
There we go. So I just put in mod and mob, and they stay. Let's... what gives us the second person plural? Is it like a toll situation?
What gives the second person plural?
Yeah. What's the second person plural pronoun?
1 second. T-O-H?
Well, oh boy. Gosh.
It was like the third time you done that today.
So this is a little tough because both D and B end up going to T. And in fact, I expect that K would do it as well. Well, K goes to H. We're going to need that second person plural.
The...
Yeah, we're going to need that second person plural. We got to get it in there. I know you had your heart set on not including the second person plural.
I never said that, I don't think. I was just trying to figure out...
Oh, well.
How do we not have... I don't know what the protoform is, but T...
Oh, it's just the pronoun.
Yeah, and what's the protoform of it?
It is...
Like, I'm looking at Haughòf, and I can't tell you what the protoform is. Because we didn't enter it in the dictionary separately from just the pronoun chart where it just has the modern form.
We did. We did. That's the whole reason I deleted them, because they were underneath. They were underneath here.
Am I just missing it?
I didn't forget to add that one, did I?
Well, I have looked and I have not found it.
That was the whole reason I deleted those, because we added them somewhere else.
I thought it may be helpful as you were trying to do like protoforms.
Oh my god. I didn't add them to the dictionary. Are you... I want to throw so many swears at myself. I feel like Reba.
Yeah?
McIntyre. Thank you.
Why put those together?
Because she was so mad at herself in the episode yesterday.
Ah, when she was yelling. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I see where your brain went there.
Yeah. Okay, so they exist somewhere in the Lohakish document. I know that they do.
I love you.
Mando todos los enemigos de Dios. Okay. Okay. I think I deleted them in this document too.
So we're going to need to look back just at some point to document. Does it matter right now? It looks like it was a pharyngeal T because it's got that dot underneath.
Oh, it is.
Okay.
No, the Haughòf forms are very close. I'm just so angry. I deleted them from the Haughòf document because they'd just been sitting out there, just underneath the pronoun table like nothing. And I was like, let's delete those and just add them.
Okay.
And I didn't. didn't honk and do it.
You did half of it, David. Okay, so yesterday, David went to go watch a basketball game with his friends. So I was at home and I was crocheting and I wanted to put something on TV.
Jonathan saved us, by the way.
Thank you. But I wanted to like watch something new. I wasn't in the mood to watch things I was already watching. But I also wanted to pick a show that like David wouldn't mind if I watched it without him, because like we have a lot of shows on our watch list, and you know it feels a little rude to just start watching a show that I know David wants to watch when he's out of the house. So I wanted to pick something that like I knew if he walked in and saw me watching it, he would be like, yeah, whatever. And Peacock came to my rescue, suggesting I check out this new show that Reba is in called Happy's Place. And so I started watching it. And then David and his friends came back, and I was still watching the show. And there was a scene where she was talking to somebody else, but like kind of yelling at her, but really she was yelling at herself. And so it wasn't like directed at all towards the person she was speaking to. It was all directed at herself, and she was yelling all sorts of things. And so that's what David was referencing, was that scene that we just saw last night on the show that we may never watch again.
It's not in there.
So
it's not in there. But it is right here. I wrote it down. I mean,
how long ago?
I don't know. Probably when we were working on inflection.
Wow.
I didn't include the pharyngeal there for whatever reason, but that's fine. Because I know it's supposed to be there. Okay. By the way, Jonathan said, just go to the old documents, which we have records of, and I did, and they're not in there.
So we never
what I
had this
remembered was those protoforms being in the document right below the table, and they weren't there. I don't know what document I was thinking of.
I had a lot of questions coming from David's friends asking, why are you watching this? I feel like David was like, yes, this tracks. But also did not mind that I was watching it without him. So I think I nailed it with choosing a show to watch while you were out of the house. But yeah, I was a Reba fan way back in like the 1980s and, beyond. And so I knew her because she was a singer, and it was only much later that she really became known as an actress, or actor, whatever word I should use there. And so yeah. Oh my gosh, I just looked at the gnome. I'm setting an alarm for 6 p.m. to go off to turn on the gnome.
Nice.
Because 6 is a good time, right?
Oh, I think it's a great time.
Okay. I have a little lit up gnome, and I need to remember to, it's one that it's like on a timer. So once you turn it on for the first time, at the time you want it, every day it'll come on at that time for 6 hours. You just need to remember to actually turn it on. And I changed the batteries, which reset everything. And so I need an alarm to remind myself to turn it back on tonight. Oh, you know what? I'm going to wait till the gnome is lit up tonight, and then I'll post a picture on Discord.
Okay.
Right now it looks cute, but there's a computer cord that normally isn't there, that would just sort of be in its way in the picture.
I mean, you could also just go and pick up the gnome and just show it to them right now. It won't be lit up. Oh, I can do it. I can do it.
I can move. Okay. This is my gnome that lights up down here. There's little twinklies in there. And I'm waiting for YouTube to catch up, so I'm just literally holding the gnome beside me. Okay, YouTube is caught up. Yes, I have put the gnome in view. So that is Oh yeah, it's right here on the floor. That's why when I glanced over and saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to remember to set an alarm so I don't forget to have it lit up again.
Got another little issue. I may not have written down the forms well enough because I don't understand why that would be schwa.
When you say that,
First person plural is
H-A-R.
is her.
What if it was the big R? Doesn't that get reduced to just an R at the end?
No.
And wouldn't that bring the...
No, it does not. Let's take a look. Gotta jump over to Haughòf sound changes now. By any chance, are they written in here and saved?
Oh, that would be something.
That would be something, but they're not.
I feel like they have to be somewhere.
I feel like that too. I don't know if you want to put together a search. Oh.
I mean, I can. It's just not going to happen.
Well, I found two protoforms. Yeah, I found two protoforms because they're in the Lohakish sound changes. So the other two, it's tor. So. And bol. So that's that. I don't see horror anywhere. Back to Haughòf. Okay. It has to be schwa. It has to be schwa. Because if you put ah in there, it comes out as ah.
Hey, David, what is bog with to join? That was one of our verbs, right?
Yeah. Yes.
The very bottom entry of Lo Hakish in Lexergy is bog her. And wouldn't that be the pronoun for like trying to figure out what its form would come out with second person?
Yes. Okay, that confirms it.
Yeah.
That confirms it. All right. We got him. We got him. R and wa. Huh. Huh.
Oh, I need to apparently join you in the H's to see what you're humming about.
There's a dot beneath that.
Mutations, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right, so I got that entered. Now, let's go see what's next.
Jake wants to know if you can talk more about the font you made for Bib or if you're under NDA.
Oh, I don't think so.
Where's Bib? Bib has to answer
yeah,
this.
why are you asking me? What I do for Mr. Larigian is my business.
Your Bibness?
Okay, wait.
Okay, entering the T, gotcha. Oh, should I be entering these on the English side?
I don't know.
We. Her.
Wait. Okay, that's the upside down R. It's the upside down R. There we go. You all, second person, plural person pronoun.
Shouldn't?
Let me make sure that I got that right.
It should be you with a downy slash.
It should?
For second person plural?
Yeah, that's what I was...
a downy slash. Listen to me.
I was concerned about. Okay.
Biblioreadian has given you leeway to speak of it or on it as you wish in terms of the font. Surprised anyone here is asking about font with how much crap we get from making fonts on the stream.
Woo, snap! All right, so Biblioreadian is... well, actually, this is the part I don't know if I can speak about. Well, it's actually an active poll. Biblioreadian is looking to change his logo. And I wanted to help out with that. And so I offered to make him a new B. And then I was like, well, if I'm going to make a B, I guess I might as well make the rest of the font. And then I was like, well, if I'm going to go that far, I might as well make a font that handles all of the romanization that we use in all of our LangTime languages. And so I did. And it is done, and it's delivered. I still don't know how I feel about it as a display font. It's very ornate, and I really, really like some of the characters that I made for it. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway. And so, thus it exists.
Did you go on the English side and enter all the pronouns?
No, I did not.
Which means everything but we had been entered on the English side already.
Okay.
From the past.
Yeah, I assumed that.
Yeah, but like, why wasn't we entered?
Oh, I don't know.
It's the first one I checked and it wasn't there. So then I was going through to enter all the others and I was going back and forth between forms and then I kept going to the dictionary and it was already there. My goodness. Hey, David.
Yeah.
Do we know what kind of poll might be interesting for next week?
I have no idea. Like, I am just so with this. I mean, the whole reason we're doing this is just to enter a single verb in the Fox dictionary. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah. So back on that.
Let's see. Give me just a second to just finish this.
Yeah. Oh, this is a delightful green. I approve.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't know if actually what I've written is correct.
Is the protoform for tuhu missing labialization? Let's look at that, Karis. I say let's look at that as if I will be able.
Okay, there we go. Now it's correct.
Well, that is an interesting question, Karis, and I think you might be right that it is missing labialization. So, David,
which one?
In Haughòf,
Yeah.
you had just entered you. Right underneath that entry is the verb to stack. The protoform, as we have it listed, ends with a Q, no labialization, and yet the way it's spelled in its modern form seems to suggest it should be labialized.
Oh, eat that a kick in the head.
Woo!
Sharp eyes, Karis. Thank you.
Karis wins the day.
Whew.
How exciting. It is an LTS classic. Gotta stack them.
Jesse is picking up on the West Finnish language. Why wasn't we entered?
Well, why wasn't we? You still haven't answered the question.
I know. All right, this is the last one. We just have to do And I think it comes out as boo, yeah. Oh, I needed to do that. I'll do that too.
Is this back in Haughòf?
Yeah, back. It's just bull. Yeah. Okay.
Nothing fancy, just a dot under the B. That's all. That's all that's fancy. So you already did rough?
Yeah. That's the one I did first. That's the night that the lights went out in Georgia.
Look at you singing, Reba.
That's the night when they hung an innocent man. I know it. All right. Is this va, ma, va, but does that change if it's... No, it doesn't. Okay, so then all we need to do is... This is A, boo, O, and then moo, and then wa, and voo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hee-hoo!
Back to our foxes.
My goodness gracious.
Yeah. All right, so we're definitely going to need first person singular and plural, second person singular and plural, and one perfect form. I'd say third person. So this is first singular, first plural, second singular, second plural.
And third perfective?
Yeah.
Are the participle forms then always predictable based on...
As far as I know, yes.
The overall form. Okay. Then in that case, yeah. All right, so you're on D?
Yeah, so...
Okay, I am ready to read you forms.
Okay.
First person singular, you just add RA, so just the suffix.
Okay. First person plural.
Plural, you add a V.
Okay.
That's it. Second person singular, bo as a suffix, bo.
Okay.
Tov for second person plural.
Okay.
And then third person singular perfective is sheu as a suffix.
Show. It's done, Jesse. It's done. It's done. We did it.
Yay!
Oh, okay. Is that all right? You have a face.
Oh, well, I'm trying to think about what we're going to move it to next. Like, what do we vote on? We have some big things we could move into.
All right. So, yes, no questions. We have a sentence final particle that comes from a verb that means to wag the tail.
That's very doggish. Wait, no, I bet foxes do that too.
I bet they do too. So we could just keep that. The form would be C with a long vowel, and we could shorten that since it's a particle depending on how we felt. Oh, and that would be pretty good. Because you know what it would remind me of? So we went down to the docks, see?
I thought, isn't it like French? If you ask a yes/no question, you answer C, yes.
If you are asked a negative question.
If you're asked a negative, that's when you answer C. And then, of course, Spanish, C is yes
C.
and or if, depending on.
Claro. But you spell them differently.
I know. Accent on the yes, no accent on the if. Okay, David, another idea. And I just want to throw this out there because this would be a shorter one. that may be easier to write up.
Don't lose your thought, but Jake says wild fox cubs wag their tails at their parents around feeding time.
I love those wild foxes.
Okay,
so coordination, specifically and. In Haughòf, we actually have different methods for coordinating noun phrases versus clauses. And actually for full clauses, we have an and then versus an and also. So I think we could potentially, moving forward, have a vote where it's, do we consolidate and only have one method for all, so they're all the same? Do we honor this tradition of having 3 different coordinators that come from these same sources? Or do we have different coordinators, but we could conflate in different ways? And so that is an option, because
that's interesting.
We do have like
abstract poll.
What's that, sorry?
It could be a very abstract poll. Yeah.
It could, and we already have, like, if the vote is to keep what we have, we've already got all the sources. If the vote is to, move away from that and have something new and or conflate different options, then, we've kind of got the things there.
We might also look at adverbs, because adverbs are done in a very, very Haughòf way. And it feels like with how much we're leaning into having distinct lexical categories in this language, we probably want to do something with that.
We could create a little derivational prefix
Yeah.
from this phrase or from a new phrase that they coined on their own.
Yeah. It comes from this phrase in the belly of, which I love, by the way. The dog sleeps in the belly of quietness.
Yeah. No, that's
lovely.
Beautiful for the dogs, but So I feel like we have like 3 solid options, each of which kind of have paths that suggest themselves. And what I mean by that is it's not like, having made this decision, we have something awful to think through.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and move forward with the coordination strategy?
What are you feeling more strongly about? Because I think adverbs is also...
I would absolutely lean into adverbs because I hate having to talk about coordination.
Well, let's lean into adverbs first, because that section is above in the document, and if we just keep
that's
working...
reason enough.
Specifically manner adverbs, like that's specifically what we're talking about here. One option is to, I think, create a prefix out of the oima and oima. Create a prefix that will turn an adjective into a definite adverb, sort of like our ly in English, but on the front of the adjective.
Oh, wow. The poll could actually be at what stage does it come over?
Ooh. Are you typing things in Lexergy?
Yeah. Am I?
You're
do
not.
I have it? No.
Mm-mm.
So we're looking at onkimai versus ogima. Versus ovima.
Oh.
These are all meaty prefixes.
Well, I would think it would get like really drastically reduced to a syllable.
Wow.
Like of that, I feel like the initial O would like never be stressed, and so would end up dropping out.
Ema. Wow. Okay. Yeah. There's some meat on this bone. All right. I'll write down adverbs. How to different options for form.
Mm-hmm.
of prefix. And then, of course, we could also just consider an entirely new strategy. All right. All right.
Yeah, I like that.
Splendid. All right, then. Let it be so.
All right, well, thank you all for being here, and we'll see you next Thursday. I think that's about all, right?
Yes, because after I get ready, I'm going to schedule a bunch of streams, which I didn't do.
Yes. Yes.
Because we'll be here. We'll be here in town for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're good. All right.
All right, everybody. Stay grammar.
Bye.
Bye.